Okay, we're up to Kuf Yud Aleph Amid Beis. We're again a daf ahead. Kuf Yud Aleph Amid Beis. A penny you have to make up the old daf. So Kuf Yud Aleph, right? Kuf Yud Aleph Amid Beis, and we're trying to figure out how do you know that a husband goes ahead and inherits a wife? How do you know a husband inherits a wife? So we had one shot from She'ero. We said that She'ero, that you read it as what, and his She'er, he'll inherit her. And today we're going to suggest another reason, two lines where it gets right. The Haitana Maisalami Hacha, a Tana brings it from here, the Tanya. Now we're going to bring in a few psukim, fellas. We're going to bring in a few psukim. I sent them out on the. I sent them out a few psukim, and we'll put them on the screen in a second. Okay, so the Tanya, it says the Yira the Yaras Isa Malamit Shabal Yaras Ishtay Divrei Rabbi Akiva. It says he'll inherit her. Who's the he? Is the husband. That's Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Yishmael Rabbi Yishmael is of the opinion, Einait Sarech, you don't have to learn it out from the Yaresh I saw. I have another source. Hari Yoimed says the Chol Bas Yereshes Nachla Mi Matais Bnei Yisrael LeEchad Mi Mishpacha Mata Avil Tiel Isha. So in other words, they're telling that you should not go ahead and allow your daughter to marry someone from another shevet, lest she go ahead inherit from her father and bring it over to another shevet. Now, what this has to do with the husband inheriting the wife, we'll see in a second. So, don't marry somebody else out, because if you do, he's going to take what your nachla and bring it to another shevet. V'oimer, a second pasuk, le'sisav nachla l'bnei Yisrael mimata el mata. Do not go ahead and transfer the nachla of bnei Yisrael from one mata. A second pasuk. V'oimer, a third pasuk. Le'sisav nachla mimata lamata acher. V'oimer, a fourth pasuk. Ve'elazar ben Aaron Mace, he died. V'yikbro so begivas Pinchas beno, and he was buried in the property that was owned from Pinchas, his son, right? That was given to him in Har Ephraim. Now, where is it possible for Pinchas to have something that his father did not have? Usually, a son inherits a father. So, how is it possible for Elazar, the son of the father of Pinchas, to be buried in the chelik that was unique to Pinchas? Obviously, it didn't belong to Elazar. How did Pinchas attain that property? How is it possible that Pinchas had something that Elazar did not have? Elamalamed shenasa Pinchas isha umesa v'yersha. That what happened to Yerusha? That Pinchas, he inherited from his wife. He married his wife. His wife had a property, and what he went ahead and got it. Now that's very good that Pinchas inherited from his mother. We need a raya that what? We need a raya that a husband goes ahead and inherits his wife. The pasuk in Divrei Hayamim, the pasuk says, "Usiguv holidas Yair." Seguv, he went ahead and he fathered Yair. Vayihiloi esu mishleisha arim beretz Gilad. He had 23 properties in Eretz Gilad. The chiminayin liyair shlehoyelo liskuv. How could Yair have something that Seguv did not have? Malamed shenasa Yair isha umesa. That he married a wife, she died. Via Russia, and he inherited her. So now you have a bunch of psukim. You have a bunch of psukim, seemingly that was listed to go ahead and teach us all the same thing: that a man inherits his wife. That a man inherits his wife. Okay, so here's the list on the board. Here's the list on the board, and we'll go through the list. The whole bas yireshus nachli mimatas bnei Yisrael lechem mishpachas mata avia tia leisha leisisav nachlo lebnei mimata el mata. Leisisav nachlo mimata lamata acher ve'elazar ben Aaron Mace ve'yikbru so begivas Pinchas beno and usuguv hoilidas yoyer ve'hiloi esem v'shleisha arim be'eretz Gilad. So now the Gemara is going to go through each one. Why did we need one pasuk? Why constantly going ahead and bringing another pasuk? What would I have said otherwise? So that's what the Gemara is coming to go ahead now and do right now. So says the Gemara, "My va'omer." Why do you need that second pasuk? V'chitema if you might say, bis bas have ben kokopid, meaning you're telling me that this pasuk is the husband is going to inherit and go ahead and what? And bring it to another shevet. Maybe this is first pasuk is speaking about the son inheriting what his mother and bringing it to another shevet. How do you conclude that what it's the husband inheriting? Guys, in other words, there's two ways to go ahead and have it go from shevet to shevet. Either the husband inherits it or the son inherits it. So if I just have this pasuk, the first pasuk alone, I could say it's the stone. Don't marry someone from another shevet. Why? Because your son, who's from the father's shevet, is going to inherit it, and he's going to pass it along to someone else. Therefore, you have the second pasuk that says, therefore, that's the second pasuk. So the second pasuk, guys, is to guarantee to tell you that what? It's speaking about the husband. Now, why do you have a third pasuk for? We have a third pasuk over here. 1 second. Maybe it's speaking only about the son. The first pasuk tell you it's your over and asay. You're over and asay. And the second pasuk telling you there's a lav. In other words, it's you're mevatel the asay. Guys, you should marry somebody from another shevet. If you don't, you're mevatel that mitzvah asay. In addition, if you do, you're over on a lav. But still, it's only speaking about the son inheriting and not the father. Again, we want to know the father inherits the mother. You have to psukim. You're saying, obviously, it must be the ones to tell me the father. Maybe not. Maybe they're both speaking about the son. One is telling me it's an asay not to marry out, and another one it's a leis asay. Therefore, the third pasuk, okay, and says the Gemara, Tashmav leisifa nachli mata lamata acher. V'chitema, if you might say, lava love b'shnei lavim, you might think that what? It's still speaking about the son to tell me that you're mevatel and asay, and there's two lavim associated with it. And therefore what? And therefore, it's you don't have a source for a husband inheriting a wife. So therefore, the verse says, Tashma, ve'elazar ben Aaron meis, ve'yikbru es Pinchas beno. V'chitei me'elazar hu denasiv Issasa, umesa, v'yarsa Pinchas, maybe Elazar married somebody else from another shevet, and Pinchas inherited it, and therefore you have no raya. That what? That a man can inherit his wife. Again, we're saying Pinchas married somebody else and inherited it. Maybe Elazar married somebody else and Pinchas, the son, inherited the mother. Guys, outside. We know for sure that a man inherits his mother. Good? We know for sure a man inherits his mother. So maybe, fellas, the first three psukim was speaking about what? A man inheriting his mother. And if it's coming to tell me, don't marry out. Don't marry another shevet, because your son that inherits you, right, is going to go ahead and pass it over. And we have, not only is it an asay, you mevatel an asay to stay within the shevet, but there's two lois asays associated with if you do it. So I don't have a source for father. Comes along now the pasuk Elazar. It must be that what? Pinchas married somebody and inherited her. Says the Gemara, how do you know that? Maybe Elazar married somebody and Pinchas, the son, inherited her. So you don't have a source for father inheriting. So therefore, we have now the next pasuk. Usuguv hoyled es Yair, and now Suguv, he went ahead and he fathered Yair, and says the Gemara, Tashma Usuguv hoyled es Yair, and he inherited the 23 cities that didn't belong to Suguv. Now, what do you say? Maybe Suguv married guys. Maybe Suguv married a woman out, and Yair inherited the same kasha. Hachihu, maybe what Yair inherited his mother, but not Suguv. Why do you need two psukim? Why do you need two psukim? Right? Telling me the same thing. Elazar and Suguv. It must be that what? That Suguv married some person, and there must be that Yair married a person, and Yair inherited from that person. Guys, so let's summarize. Go to the sheet. Go to the sheet. Let's summarize quickly, and then we'll go weiter. Good? Yeah, we brought in 5 psukim, all to teach me one thing. That what? That a man inherits his mother. Excuse me, his wife. A man inherits his wife. Good. Now, first pasuk says, well, I just had that first pasuk. I would say it's speaking about the son inheriting. Second pasuk. Well, if I only had these two pasukim, I'll say there's an asay and there's a lav. Third pasuk. Well, maybe there's an asay and there's two lavim, but it's speaking about the son. Fourth pasuk. Ve'elazar ben Aaron mace v'yikro yosef Pinchas beno. So it must be that what? That Pinchas inherited his wife. No, maybe Pinchas inherited his father, Elazar. Excuse me, his mother. Elazar married out, and Pinchas inherited his mother. So therefore, it must be that why Yair inherited his wife. Maybe you'll tell me Yair inherited his mother. Says the then what's two psukim come to teach me? Therefore, that's why you needed all those psukim. That's why you needed all those psukim. Okay, it's a good summary and a nice little piece of work there. Just to show you something geschmack on that little piece of work. Right? Yeah, we'll get to that. If you take a look, guys, this sheet, the first Hajjim was 1995. The second one the sheet was used in July 2002. The third time was used in December 2009. I forgot to write down the fourth one. The fifth one was used today. So this is a 30-year-old sheet. The first time 1995 and now 2024. A lot of water under the bridge. But a good little chart nonetheless. Okay, the Gemara gets a little difficult now. Okay, says the Gemara. You might want to keep it. Amalera Papa Abaya. Mimai maybe a Baal does not inherit. For Kra Bisibas Haben Kiddishaninon. And the pasuk is speaking about the son. Right? Like we said, we touched up one essay to lavim Yair, Yair, the Zovin Mizvin. He bought it. Maybe he bought it. Maybe he bought it. Says the and therefore he had 23 cities. Pinchas Nami, the Zavim Mizvin, he also bought it. Amalei, Pinchas, the Zavim Mizvin, Lematziamit. It's not possible to say that Pinchas bought it. Why? Dem Kain Nimtses, Sada Achuza Biyovel, the Nimset Sadik Kova Bekeva Shein Shaloi. This was in Har Ephraim. It's a stay achuz of somebody else. If you tell me Pinchas bought it, you know what's going to happen? It becomes Yovel, it's going to go back to original owner. Who's going to be buried in there? Elazar Kohen. So it's not possible to say that Pinchas would lose the land. He's not going to bury his father in a land that doesn't belong to him. He's not going to go ahead and bury his father in a land that doesn't belong to him. So therefore, you can't say he bought it. So, but nonetheless, we still have a kasha. Says the Gemara, Elaima de Naftala mistei charamim. Maybe it fell stei charamim. The pasuk says, "V'hoyasada b'tseisa b'yovel kodesh Hashem k'stei acherim." In other words, we know a kohen, guys. If you magdish your field and you're not paid it goes to the kohen. Or if a person put his field in chayrim, it goes to the kohen. In other words, I have other ways of Pinchas getting this property, not from his father and not from his mother. Guys, in other words, right? We know for a fact Pinchas buried Elazar in a property, and the assumption is he inherited the property from his wife. Says the Gemara, how do you know he inherited his wife from another shevet? Maybe it came to Al Yidei Chayrim. Maybe it came to Al Yidei what? That you weren't paid it. So therefore, you have no raya from the psukim that what a man is Yarish's wife. You have no raya from the psukim a man is Yarish's wife. Okay. Amar Abaya says Abaya. There's a Rashbam. There's Gersa problems over here. There's a Rashbam on the bottom, guys, who goes through the Gersa. Let's go through that Rashbam just to read it. The explanation of this Rashbam, just take a look at the Yomid Beis, is that Rashbam. Yeah, this is where I get the big bucks from. If you look at the next page, right, you have this big Rashbam. This big Rashbam is explaining this Gemara, our Gemara over here. Okay, it's explaining our Gemara over here. So here's the Girsa. 4 lines down. We get from the bottom, 4 lines up. Elahachi Garsina and v'chein nimtza b'tshuvas Rabbeinu Gershom ma'or einei agoyla zechat tzadik levracha. Amar Abaya soif hakamis akra nachla mishevet deimei the shifted the abba. We'll see what all this means. That in the end you're going to go ahead and you're going to be the Yerusha is going to be going from what? From one to the other. Memai Shiny Hasam Shekvar Huspa. It already has been one time before been transferred already. Says Mer, Shekvar Huspa Le'amina, we don't worry about transfer. Amalei Rav Yemel, Rav Ashi, no. And that is the basic source of this. So let's see the Gemara and we'll see what we're talking about. Okay, let's see the Gemara and see exactly what's going on over here. Okay, so this is the Girsa again of the Rashbam. Amra Baya, Saif Hamisakra Nachla Mishifta the Ima Leshifta the Abaya. Okay, look at the chart. I have a chart over here. Andrew, you got the paper there? The bottom, right in the bottom there. So this is all new. You have a father from Ruvain, a mother from Shimon, and a bas inherits both, right? So we said this bas has to marry what? Ruvain. The bas is from Ruvain. She has to marry Ruvain because you're worried that what? That the nachla of Ruvain, of the mothers, shouldn't go to another shevet. But the bottom line is, it already went from another shevet. Guys, it already went from another shevet. I'm sorry. Hey, I don't think I sent it to you. Do I have my phone? Yeah. 1 second. So this mother who has property from Shimon, now what happens? Her father was from Ruvain. The mother was from Shimon. And what happened was when she married this person, automatically, you see, usually when by Nisuin, automatically the property goes over. So the bas wouldn't be the problem, she'd be the problem. Now, what happened was, this is from the Rashbam on Kufir Aleph, Amid Aleph. It says what happened was she had brothers. So when they both died, the sons inherited the mother first. Now, when the mother died, the father inherited the mother. And then he died. So consequently, the daughter inherited him. So this already had been transferred once already before. So the Gemara wants to know the following. What are you worried about this daughter marrying somebody else? Already, there's been a transfer already. It went from what? From the father to the mother. It transferred out already once. So the Gemara is wants to tie, 1 second. Kfar Huspa, where already it's been transferred out, that we can't control because it's the mother's estate. We don't care about the mother's estate. We care about her inheriting her father's estate and transferring it out. We care about the bas of Ruvain inheriting Ruvain and marrying someone from Yisachar. In other words, Kfar Huspa, we have the mother already married, and we don't care about that. We can't deal with that. All we can deal with is the asid. What? In other words, the mother's estate we don't worry about. What do we worry about? The father's estate. If the father was from Ruvain and his only daughter is the only heir is his daughter, and the daughter inherits and marries someone from Yisachar, it's leaving. Read the Gemara. So why do you care about that? Why don't you care about initially how they ever get married in the first place? On that's not a problem. Why? Because when she married, it didn't go to the father. When she married from Shimon, it went to the brothers. When she died, it went to the brothers. It stayed within the shevet. It goes out when what? It goes out when consequently the brothers die and it ends up by the father and ends up by the daughter. That's the problem. That's Kfar Huspa. So therefore, let's see it inside the Gemara and we'll see what happens. Okay? Let's go inside the Gemara and see what goes on. Okay. Says the Gemara. Amar Rabbi, Saif, Hakamis Akre Nachla, Mishifta the Ime, Lishifta the Abba. It went from Shimon to Ruvain. Umimai, Vidil Mishani Hasam Shekvar Huspa. Maybe over there, it already had gone out already. In other words, so why are you worried about the daughter? We don't worry about what happened previously with the mother's estate. We don't care. No, we don't say that. We do worry about that. So even not only the daughter should marry out, the mother should marry out either. Bishleim, you could tell me, you say we don't worry about the mother's estate. If you tell me that we can say that what we can zetzain that what that there's no difference between the mother's estate and the father's estate. She must marry a man from the shevet. The mother must marry and the father must marry. If you're going to tell me what you don't say kvar huspa, Ki mitzvah le'ech mimishpachas mata avia my havi hakimis achra nachla mishifta the email l'shifta the abba. Marrying a man, right? Marrying a man, right, from father Shavit would ensure that the Shavit stays within the nachla. Ella, that's if you say what? That's if you say kfar huspa. But if you don't say kfar huspa, what did you accomplish with this mother's estate, giving it to the other Shavit, right? Says the Gemara, my havi misakre nachla mishifta the email shifta the abba. Says the Gemara, the minasvina lo gavra davua mishifta davua v'imei b'shifta dima. I tell you what, you know how you would avoid this? Make sure that they marry a mother and if they're two from different shvatim, they're still from the same two different shvatim. So in our case, a Reuven Shimon would marry a Reuven Shimon. It would stay in that mishpacha. So therefore, you wouldn't have a problem of if you don't say kfar huspa, you wouldn't have a problem. It said you only worry matas avia. Pirish. The pasuk said you only have to worry about marrying the mishpacha of the father. It should say le'echa mishpachas mata avia ve'imem boile. In other words, you shouldn't not worry about marrying someone from the father. You should be you want to guarantee you marry someone from the father and the mother, but only says marrying someone from the father. Again, if you take into account the mother's estate that you do say, you're worried about kfar huspa, then in the chart below, they should only marry. What are you worried about? You're worried about her marrying someone out. You should worry about not only about marrying someone from the same father. No, in this case, this girl should have to marry someone who's from Reuven and Shimon, who's from Reuven and Shimon, and not someone who was just from Reuven. Is that you want to keep it Reuven? You'd have to take into account both things. Says Gemara, I'll tell you what. If it would have said that, Havamina afilu itcha, I would have said the opposite, that the father was from Shimon and the mother was from Reuven. No, it's really, there is akpada, but the akpada is that the same father and the same mother, but not the opposite. It can't be that the mother's from Reuven and the father's from Shimon. That you can't do. Havamina afilu itcha kamash malon, that kamash malon, that you could marry both, but in other words, the father has to be the mother has to be the boss has to marry somebody who's the same father and the same mother from the same Shevet. Okay, we're going to stop over here simply because it runs.